The boy developed feelings for his classmate's mother. Her every movement caught his attention. Whenever he saw her, he would feel both nervous and curious. This gentle and elegant woman made it hard for him to look away. His mind was filled with fantasies. He unconsciously wanted to get closer to her. Since Jack was an excellent student, he used tutoring his classmate Martin as an excuse to frequently visit his house. Every time he saw Martin's mother, he would feel tense, a mix of excitement and anxiety. He even wrote about his feelings in an essay and submitted it to his literature teacher. The teacher was greatly surprised after reading it. He couldn't understand how a 16-year-old boy could have such deep and complex emotions toward an adult. He even discussed it with his wife. He expressed his concerns, but his wife believed it was just a phase of adolescence, encouraging him to guide the student properly. Finally, the teacher decided to talk to Jack after school. He hoped to help Jack understand his emotions. However, Jack brought a sequel to his first essay. The teacher read it carefully. He realized that Jack had an incredible talent for writing. The teacher's long-lost passion for literature was reignited. Instead of warning Jack, he encouraged him to keep writing. Encouraged by the praise, Jack became more observant of daily life. He wanted to write even more realistic experiences. While tutoring Martin, he would deliberately find excuses to walk into the living room. But Martin's mother quickly noticed his actions, so she started talking to Jack. Jack felt extremely nervous. He couldn't even make eye contact with her. Seeing this, Martin's mother smiled. She jokingly asked, "Why are you so shy?" Jack hurriedly nodded, awkwardly looking away. He pretended to admire the painting on the wall. At night, he secretly opened her bedroom door. He continued to secretly observe the woman who made his heart race.
Moi, il me rend nerveuse. Tout à l'heure, il était dans le couloir devant les aquarelles. Il avait l'air d'un fou. J'en ai marre de l'avoir dans nos pattes tous les soirs. Je vais dire à Rafa d'arrêter de l'inviter.
Hearing what his classmate's mother said, Jack panicked. He immediately sought help from his literature teacher. However, the teacher remained calm, lightly saying he would handle everything. But Jack was still anxious, urging the teacher to tell him the plan. It turned out that the teacher had a scheme. He planned to secretly help Martin improve his grades. That way Jack could continue staying at Martin's house as a tutor. The teacher even gave Jack tips to naturally get closer to his target. Jack was amazed at his teacher's intelligence. The teacher quickly put his plan into action. He pretended to work late at school. After all the other teachers left, he secretly opened the math teacher's locker. From inside, he took out the upcoming exam paper with the test in advance. Martin performed exceptionally well in the exam. He achieved a near-perfect score. His parents were overjoyed, crediting Jack for tutoring him. Jack had now completely secured his position in Martin's home. At night, when everything was quiet, he continued to secretly watch the woman he admired. Over time, his obsession grew stronger. Meanwhile, Martin's mother was completely unaware. She was only happy that her son's grades improved. This made her grow even closer to Jack. Sometimes she would chat with him, sharing her thoughts and concerns. But at this moment, Jack was completely lost in his own world. He wasn't listening to her at all. Instead, he stared at her, carefully observing her expressions and gestures. The woman noticed his unusual gaze. She pretended to have a sore back and stood up. What she didn't expect was that Jack picked up the apple she dropped. He sat next to the woman again. At night, Jack found Martin's parents arguing over some trivial matter. Man holding wine bottle angrily grabbed a bottle of alcohol and walked out to the balcony to drink alone. Jack saw this as an opportunity. Jack quietly entered the living room. Then he discreetly slipped it into the woman's hand. The woman looked at Jack in confusion, but Jack said nothing. He simply turned and walked away. The woman slowly unfolded the note. It was filled with cryptic poetry. The next morning, she couldn't help but ask Jack what the note meant.
T'as beaucoup aidé mon fils, il t'aime beaucoup, mon mari s'est pris d'amitié pour toi, mais t'imagines s'il lisait ça? Même pieds nus, la pluie n'irait pas danser.
Je l'ai pas écrit pour eux, je l'ai écrit pour vous.
Jack smiled faintly. It's a love letter. He had expressed his feelings. This letter was written by him alone. His literature teacher had helped him craft it. He imagined that the Chinese teacher was next to him. She didn't know how to respond. She just stared at Jack in silence, her eyes filled with complicated emotions. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. The woman said nothing, just watching Jack. Soon the two of them stuck together. However, outside the door, Martin had seen everything. The next day, he called Jack to the basketball court. Without a word, he threw a punch. Their friendship was over. Jack knew he could never return to Martin's house. He secretly arranged to meet Martin's mother. He wanted to make one last attempt. The woman returned the love letter to him. Jack doesn't want to give up and wants to try again, hoping to convince her to run away with him. He even promised he would love her more than her husband did. However, the woman shook her head. She told him it was just a moment of weakness, and there would never be a second time. Jack felt like a dagger had pierced his heart. He had believed the woman had feelings for him, but it turned out it was all a misunderstanding. He watched as she turned around and walked home, his whole world collapsing around him. His thoughts became twisted, believing that all his failures were due to his literature teacher's influence. Furious, he stormed to his teacher's house. However, when the door opened, it was not his teacher standing there, it was his wife. Looking at the elegant, mature woman, was filled with yet another desire. At that moment, he forgot why he was there. He began using the techniques his teacher had taught him. His carefully chosen words flirted with her, and surprisingly she responded to his advances.